Hi everyone, my name is Kanika Kush, and this is the video number 2 on the series that I've begun on bringing books to you. And as I mentioned in the previous one also, I would like to begin on my second book, which is Chakras for Beginners by David Bond. I think it's a wonderful book, and it's a very simplistic way of understanding what chakras stand for, what do they mean, what do they refer to, how can we balance them, how do they go out of balance, and a lot more information that has been brought to you very simplistically, very relatable. So let's begin. This is going to be like a seven chapter thing because, very interestingly, by the way, the previous book that I did on Max Miller was also seven chapters, and this is seven too because there's seven chakras. That's just how it is. But okay, let's begin from chakra 1. Okay, and for those of you who are watching it outside of India, we call it chakra. Just this is just a little a basic understanding. If you're outside of India and watching this, I need to bring this to you for those of you who don't know why we add the letter A after a Hindi word. Chakra is a Hindi word, and it is important to note that in Hindi it is written as, this is the way you pronounce it. It is chakra, chakra. But then how do you write it in English, right? You can't write Chakr. It, how will you will also end up giving a brief towards the end of r. So I think all the people, maybe I don't know who started this concept, but they started writing A. I'm guessing the Britishers who came here. I'm guessing I may be wrong here. So they started writing A towards the end of Hindi words. That's Chakra. It's Ram. So it's not Ram. It's Ram. Got it? So Ram. So, anyways, I'm just going on and on. That's who I am. I like, bringing it all like that. Moving on. First chakra, which is also called the Mool Aadhar chakra or root chakra. The color that is associated with it is the color red, and this is located at the tip of your spine when you go down close to your tailbone. Now, do you remember your science? The tailbone, that little last bit used to be called coccyx. Remember, it's right there. So when you sit and if your tailbone is hurting, then you know that, okay, fine, I could also maybe refer to my Mooladhara chakra right now. That's just how we start, okay? Now, the first thing that David Pond refers to with the Mooladhara chakra or the root chakra is base level things, base level needs, like food, shelter, security, and safety. Those are the main things. Now, what does this mean? And also, to anybody who's listening, please understand, at no point will all your chakras always be in perfection and balanced. When you're in this world, you're always being exposed to external energies. Naturally, they are affecting you, even if you don't want them to, or even if you have come to a place where you don't allow them to affect you, yet they will. Nobody's made of steel, right? So, if any of you have any sort of a misconception that, yeah, but mera heart chakra to is working beautifully, then how come my Mooladhara has gone for a 6? At least my understanding from the book is that it's not like if niche is sorted to upar sort out hota jayega. I don't think so. That is my opinion. I am open for any kind of debate here. What I understood is that maybe the upper ones are working beautifully well. There are 7, we'll get to them. But maybe the niche wala, which we call the lower chakras. There are 3 lower, 3 upper, and then there's the one outside of us, right? Now, the lower ones, lower does not mean they're bad, negative, or to be looked down upon. No, it's just that lower chakras mean they are alluding to the energies maybe of the world or very basic energies, where it's more about your personal gain. Okay, moving on. Mooladhara chakra, like I told you, is located at the base of your spine. Root chakra, it's called. It refers to basic needs. Now, let me give you an example. Uh, I will give you my example. Okay, I for the longest time have always felt very insecure and unsafe. Now, on the one hand, if you know me and you are either living with me or you've been associated with me, then you, with your understanding, might think that, yeah, but you're in a safe environment, you're in a safe colony, you have people who love all around you, then why do you feel such and such feelings? That's the whole point. Now, why do I feel? Because maybe something happened long ago with me which kind of settled inside me, okay, which was feeling of insecurity and feeling unsafe. Now, that could be XYZ incident. Point is that it manifested in insecurity and a feeling of not feeling safe. Now, this relates with the Mooladhar chakra, which means agar aapke andar any of these feelings hain, causes imbalance in the root chakra. Okay, so your root chakra will be like, like imbalanced. When your root chakra is imbalanced, then even if the upper chakras are okay, still you'll always feel off balance, that yaar ek taraf to I'm feeling so creative and there's so much love in my heart, but then how come I still feel insecure and unsafe? अगर ऐसा कुछ आपको लगता है, then you have to figure out which chakra might be out of whack. This is the main, I would say, meaning of root chakra. Fear is another thing. So what he says is that जब आपका रूट चक्रा या मूलाधार चक्रा is imbalanced, then you will also always have a feeling of fear. Now naturally, I just told you that I felt unsafe. Unsafe automatically translates into having feelings of fear. Now these could be mortal fear, this could be morbid fear, this could be fear in your head. That's not the point. The point is that you feel fearful, So if you're feeling too fearful, then maybe you want to go check, is your Mooladhar balanced? And if it is not, then you balance it out. Now I'm making it sound very simple. Of course, there is a practice around it. You have to put in the work. It's not just like that it'll happen. No, it doesn't. But I think everything starts from first discovering that this exists. Only then can you start to work on it and make it better and better and better with practice and consistency, honesty and hard work. And by the way, before I move to the second chakra, I do want to say to all of you that every time I'm going to be making these videos, consider me as deep a learner as any of you. So we are all in this together. I'm learning and I'm bringing it out to you. No, in no way am I saying that I know this for good and I'm the ultimate authority. I'm not. So yes, if I'm proved wrong about something, or if I've mispronounced or misspoken, apologies for it in advance, and I will immediately, if it's really bad, then I will put out a video to apologize or correct my mistake, or otherwise I'm asking you for just bearing with me with anything that is off, because I'm also human, and well, I do make my notes and stuff, but sometimes अपना thought process भी होता है कि जी आप अपने हिसाब से बोल रहे हो, right? So yeah, now we can move on to the next one. Next up is the second chakra, which is also called the Swadhisthana. It's located in the pelvis area, okay, and the color is orange. This one is related with pleasure activities, and when I say pleasure, it is not only sexual. Pleasure can be pleasure, just pleasure, eating, drinking, smoking, partying, having too much fun, always like sensual, which is related with the senses. Obviously sex is part of it. So any kind of physical activity में बहुत आप घुसते जा रहे हो जिसमें बड़ा मज़ा आ रहा है, like it's sensual, there's a difference, and I will talk about what's the difference between the other thing, okay? So that kind of a thing is what this chakra relates with, okay? Now let's say that you find yourself being addicted to porn, addicted to gambling, addicted to eating or sleeping, or just watching too much TV for the heck of it. These are all addictions. Why are they there? They are there because they're pleasurable for you. Why are they pleasurable? They are pleasurable for you because you are finding yourself at a loss. Loss of what? Of feeling pleasure. It's a circle. But now you'll ask me that अगर ऐसा है तो फिर ये कर रहे हैं तो what is the problem? The problem is that these are not helping you. These are a little compulsive, and they are again working at the lower level. I spoke in the first one also that there are 3 chakras that work on a lower level and 3 on the higher level. Again, when I say lower, it is very personal. Personal means to your person, to your own very selfish needs. Here the selfish need connotation is a little negative, okay? Now when you're addicted to something and you're finding a lot of pleasure, but look, the problem is that at that time it is still out of balance, which means if you're addicted, that the word addiction itself means that you are doing it at the cost of something else. Ask yourself that. If you're I used to be a smoker. When I was smoking, I was doing it at the cost of my health, right? And sometimes I go crazy around, well, this a lot of women will relate with, around our PMS. We go a little crazy with something or the other, some food item. So for some time we get addicted, which means that we are again doing it at the cost of health. We are not being able to help ourselves. That typically will mean that our second chakra is imbalanced. So don't berate yourself. हो जाता है, it's okay. Of course, if you're like very deeply, addicted to porn or gaming or watching reels or maybe social media, or always doing one thing over and over and over again for some need of yours, then check. And if it has been going on for a very long time, that's when your second chakra is kind of off. Now what does this mean? Don't feel bad again. What this means, if you want to correct yourself, okay, that's an assumption I'm making here, that whoever is watching is really interested in this. Otherwise आप क्यों देखोगे? आप इसको change करके you'll get back to your gaming or watching TV or eating or sexual activities or whatever else is giving you pleasure, right? If you're watching this, that means कुछ interest आपको आया है. Interest अगर आया है, check what you're doing and just figure out why is this? Why? What? क्या चीज़ है जो मेरी fulfill नहीं हुई है? Why am I looking for pleasure so much? Now, why this happens is हमारा जो इंडिविजुएशन प्रोसेस होता है, वीव स्पोकन अबाउट सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन, आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू नो दिस, बट इट्स कॉल्ड मैस्लोज नीड हायरार्की, एंड I'll you can go check it out and you'll see how it fits very nicely with this also. So it is said that anything, we know this, we move from ground to we go up. Talk about anything, right? I mean, a tree will grow like that, a plant will grow like that, a human will grow like that, you make a hill, it will grow like that. That's just how it is. Things go from bottom to up, right? Similarly, as human beings, we grow from the base chakra to the topmost chakra, which we'll get to in a bit. So while that is happening, naturally we start from the root chakra and then the next up is this chakra. Now when we are going up here, then it is kind of forming. So pleasure is part of life. That's the point I was trying to make. That the first chakra I told you was about safety, security, having a solid foundation. This is about pleasure. But I just told you it'll be out of balance agar aapka pleasure is turning to addictions. But then does that mean that there will be no pleasure in life? This is where I again have a personal example. About 4 years ago, I just told myself that, I'm getting into weird habits. Like I told you, right, that I had gotten into the habit of smoking. And one day I realized that I was addicted to it, even though I was never a chain smoker or anything like that. But I was addicted. And out of my practice of art, is when I realized that, yare ho kya raha hai? It's interesting that I speak about art because art is what gives me pleasure today. And that pleasure is healthy. And that's when your second chakra or the Swadhisthana is working beautifully well. This was my point. So let's say you are a person who practices writing, dancing, reading, or walking in nature, or you're an artist, or you're a singer, you're a sculptor. All these things come in the second chakra. The pleasure associated with these things comes in the second chakra. So, and by the way, the color I told you is orange. And again, David Pond will take you through how to balance it out. So the whole point again of all of this and bringing it to you, and I hope you're not doing that to yourselves. I used to. I'm out of that cycle, thankfully, which is why the need to bring this to the rest of you. एक हम साइकिल में घुस जाते हैं कि जब आपको कोई कुछ समझा रहा होता है या बता रहा होता है, इट इज़ वेरी नेचुरल टू इमीडिएटली पर्सोनिफाई इट टू योर सेल्फ, लाइक टेक इट वेरी पर्सनली, लाइक yeah, I do this. And then some of us go a step further, and what we do is that, this is sounding bad, but I do it, so I must be bad. I would strongly urge you to not do that. Just hear it for the objectivity of it, and then see, okay, that's happening, okay, fine. How do I get rid of it? If you want to get rid of it. If you don't and you're okay with it, then that's your reality today, right? So this was just a little personal tip that I had to tell you. Because I've been there. That is why I'm saying that can really mess up your system and your chakras. Everything gets out of balance. Then you don't know what you're doing, and you are not fully yourself. Nobody's fully themselves, but you're finding yourself at least. But when you do that, which I just mentioned, then you're operating out of yourself, outside of yourself. So that gets tough. All right, moving on to the next one. The third chakra. This one is my personal favorite because I think I have chanced upon it just now. When I say just now, maybe just 6 months ago, or I've finally understood, oh, this is what it means, because my third chakra was imbalanced for the longest time, like very badly imbalanced. Now, before moving on, the third chakra is called the Manipur chakra, and it is here. It's literally your core. It's like your solar plexus. That's where it resides. Again repeating, these are not physical chakras that you will go into the operation theater operating table and cut and find पीछे की ओ ये पड़ा हुआ है यहाँ पर, नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. It's just energy centers. Okay, so the third chakra, called the Manipur, and by the way it is associated with yellow. This happened by chance, I didn't plan it. I promise you I didn't plan it that ये ऐसा होगा, ये हो जाता है. These are called synchronicities I feel, and I do a lot in my life these days. So the third chakra basically is about literally your core. And when I say oh hai bhi idhar, and core meaning what are your core values, what do you stand for, what is your honor code, what are the things that you will not do come what may, what are your non-negotiables, where are your boundaries, do you know how to say no, and do you assert yourself, do you have discipline in yourself. Now I said so many things, now take this to the extreme. I was there. That's what I'm saying. I have a lot of discipline, lot of willpower. I like asserting myself, but it used to go to the extreme. So let's say you have a lot of willpower. I will use so much willpower. I used to so much willpower that then I would fall sick. And when I say fall sick, not in an unhealthy, like diseased way, no, but my mind will go crazy, right? That okay, like extreme. And then sometimes asserting myself, I would find myself getting very aggressive in the way I spoke, right? And similarly, I didn't have the capability to say no, which meant that I was a footmat for the longest time for people that I thought will not even take me for a footmat, but they did too. And whose fault is that? It's not a fault. What I'm trying to say is that who is responsible for it at the end of the day? At the end of the day, a lot of you will also say that things that happen to you have happened to you and you're behaving in a certain way. That's okay. But the victim mentality, which by the way is again another trait of anybody whose third chakra is out of balance and is on the other extreme, the mentality of victimhood. That so what, मेरे साथ ये सब हुआ है, I am justified in this behavior. That is a typical example of the third chakra being out of balance, because then you're telling the world I'm justified. And I feel a lot of people who commit crimes in the world, I feel it's the third chakra. It must be emanating from the base chakra that okay, मुझे ज़िंदगी में security safety नहीं मिली, अब मैं alcohol पीऊँगा या पीऊँगा ही होगा. Mostly crimes are committed by men. So you come to the second level, right, where you're totally like imbalanced, and then the third level where आपको willpower use करनी है, but आप willpower कर भी रहे हो use, but किस लिए कर रहे हो? That's the point. That is the point. Crime के लिए. And then you're thinking that वो बोलते हैं ना that the most evil minds are also very intelligent. I feel it's the third chakra operating. That's my opinion. Okay, that's my opinion. That people who are deriving a lot of pleasure out of hurting other people or committing crimes, their third chakra needs to be balanced. So coming back, how do you balance it? I just told you, when you start making healthy boundaries, where you're not hurting anybody else, but you in no way are hurting yourself. When you get discipline in your life where it is helping you and inspiring others, it's not walking over other people. Similarly, when you learn to say no and the other person doesn't get offended, when you learn to assert yourself but you're not defending yourself or being super aggressive to the other person, but just like plainly asserting yourself, know for a fact that your third chakra is working wonderfully well. If your third chakra is out of balance, you will a lot of times feel like a servant. And if it is balanced, you will feel that you want to be in service of people. Okay, that is a classic sign. Servant means you'll always be doing stuff feeling like I'm not supposed to be doing this, but I'm doing it. तो आप तो ऑलरेडी हो गया ना. बट बोलते हैं ना कि बट के बाद कोई भी जो सेंटेंस आता है, it kind of washes away the first half that came before the but, right? So I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm doing it. So आपका reality is I'm not supposed to do this. So that's what you feel. That means your third chakra is not balanced. Whereas when you're in service of something or someone, it could be a job you do, it could be work that you do, आपका all your cells are in tandem and the whole energy is vibrating in the same wavelength, and that's called service. I'm not talking about the work that you do. No, it's the feeling that you have. That am I being all of us are servants in a way, right? In a way. अगर वैसे देखा जाए, अगर आप सर्वेंट वैसे सोच रहे हो कि somebody is a master and somebody is a follower, like वो तो फिर हम सभी हैं in a way. We all are servants that way. But if you start thinking that I am doing a service, that's when the whole thing changes. So this is what it's nice na the way I'm explaining to you, because मेरे को भी समझ आ रहा है. So imagine what he must have written. That's my point. That is why I thought it's very important to bring this book to all of you. He talks about how myself included, I'm trying my level best to change this, is that there are two things in our lives, which are energy and which is event. Okay, most of us operate out of a reaction to an event that has happened. A very few of us will operate out of, okay, an event has happened, but my energy is saying this, so let me operate out of my energy. I would again like to say that I've always wanted to operate out of my energy, but the world forced me to operate out of the event. I am now reintroduced to myself in the past 1 year because of a lot of things that I've done. But yes, and energy, because you can't explain it to people. In the first video I told you, I used to say things like, पर मुझे ठीक नहीं लग रहा, पर मुझे यहाँ कुछ कुछ हो रहा है. So now imagine यार, you are in a job and you're telling this to somebody. अब ये सब तो मैन मेड है, ये सब तो बाद में आया है. हम छोटे हैं. द यूनिवर्स इज बिग. द यूनिवर्स डिफाइंस एवरीथिंग, नॉट अस. बट समहाउ we are misleading ourselves and everybody else that it's us, it's the man that is going to decide क्या होगा, तुमको क्या करना है, इस नौकरी में क्या करना चाहिए, सोसाइटी कैसा होना चाहिए. These are the rules that we've all created and everybody needs to be in those rules, right? I will not get deep down into it. My point is, we are all part of the society. There are rules, agreed. But let's say, for example, somebody's died and you don't feel like crying. What is the actual reality? Reality क्या है? दोनों reality हैं. Somebody's died and you don't feel like crying. But why are you forced to cry? See, this is classic example of an event has happened and you are forced to change your energy because of that. I've lived in that prison for the longest time. This was just an example. Now I've shifted back. Somebody's died, reality. My energy is not relating to that person who's died. Reality. Now, does that mean that I will... what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. I will still pay my respects. But मेरे को अगर रोना नहीं आ रहा, मुझे grief नहीं feel हो रहा, वो मेरी reality है. वो मेरी reality है. And on a very spiritual level, I would also like to say that अगर मैं अपनी reality के साथ जीऊँगी, तो considering that the universe is huge and we are part of the universe, which means universe is part of us. So if I live in my reality most of the times, then am I not actually being part of the universe and not resisting to it? Think about this. So actually behaving in your energy and working with your energy or aligning with your energy and acting according to your energy, I feel A is an act of bravery and courage in this world that always tells you what to do, and B is actually the simplest thing to do and the easiest. Moving on to the fourth one. The fourth chakra is the heart chakra. It is love. It is just pure love. It is associated with the color green and it's just prem. It is just that. So, अब इसके क्या meaning हो सकते हैं, right? Now, I spoke about so now see, we've moved on. We've moved above, है ना? Fourth आ गया ना? Fourth chakra, they say, is the center point of the top three and the bottom three ka like a junction, okay? Now, what David Pond says is that this chakra is basically where love comes out from. Let's dive a little deeper. So love, a lot of times we think love is between husband and wife, between parent and child, between friends, right? That, he says, is a personal level ka love. Now, personal is again the bottom three chakras, correct? जो नीचे के 3 चक्रा हैं, they are more related to us. And let's not discard or dismiss them, क्योंकि वो अगर नहीं है तो हम कैसे होंगे? तो उनका होना ज़रूरी है, but we need to still keep elevating ourselves above, right? Now, personal love जो होता है, that he says is mostly operating on the lower 3 chakras. Again, what does that mean? That means marriage. That means bondage. That means family and society. What does that mean? You fall in love, you get married. You got married, after 4 to 5 years, you realize love has gone out of the window, which happens to pretty much all of us. I don't think there's any exception. Then you start lying to yourself. And then when you start lying to yourself, again, remember in the previous video I said, you are acting according to the event, not your energy. Imagine if the 3rd or 4th year couples came to each other and said, yeah, I'm not feeling love for you. कितने लोग बोलते होंगे? And then उसके बाद also not quitting on each other and leaving and all that. No, then saying, okay, how do we want to continue this or whatever? I mean, that's your choice. That's not my judgment to make. This would be the highest truth actually if somebody actually came to you and said, you know what, this is what I'm feeling. I mean, that would be amazing. That means आपका personal love वाला जो part है, it's moved up to the heart chakra, where it moves to compassionate love, which is the next one. Compassionate love, typically speaking about not just yourself, it goes to the next person, wherein the other person will be able to understand you and forgive you. जब भी हम किसी को forgive करते हैं, we do it out of love. Okay, so love has a lot of, basically a lot of colors, a lot of greens, right, that you can understand from him. I'm trying to simplify it, so just bear with me. So the first one I said was personal love, where mera bacha, mera pati, mera bhai, mera, and then what happens with mera करके आप नीचे नीचे जाते रहते हो, you again go down to the base chakra of insecurity, feeling unsafe, pleasure, right, कि ये नहीं मिला तो मैं ये करूँगी, my husband is angry, my wife is angry with me, therefore I will stay out late, therefore I will start gambling or gaming or watching too much TV or eating too much. You see women eating a lot, right, that नहीं ये नहीं हुआ, my husband doesn't give me any more love, because we've gone down. I've been part of it. I am still part of it. Okay. So this happens. Then insecurity, feeling like, oh my god, ye kya hua? Jealousy. All these things mean personal love tak hi seemit hai. We've not moved up to the heart chakra. That's my point. Now, what he says is that when you start moving up, then a second type ka love aata hai, which is compassionate love, where you're like, it's okay, it's part of life. So when you say it's okay, you're kind of forgiving things, right, in a way. Wo second hai. And then there is the third, which is universal love. Universal love is something I would really want to experience in my lifetime, really, where it's just what it is, and you are just flowing with love, and you have love for everybody and everything, and it's not like there's no judgment. There is none. It is like acceptance of everything, not in a foolish way, not like somebody's hitting you, तो आप वहाँ बैठ के like a jackass, you're just like showing your battisi and saying I love you. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is you've moved. You've moved to a place where you're like, sab hai. It is what it is, and yeah, just acceptance. I'm not being able to explain it, but anybody you meet, you'll see familiarity. You will feel we know each other, and that feeling of a universal love. Then you start feeling it with nature, with animals, and with the things that are going on in the world. There'll not be resistance. That means your heart chakra has balanced out itself to such a degree. That's what I was coming to. आई टोल्ड यू नथिंग इज परमानेंट. वो ऊपर नीचे तो होता रहेगा, आप थोड़ा ना एक जगह खड़े रहोगे सारे टाइम. इट्स जस्ट नॉट पॉसिबल यार, है ना. सो वी नीड टू जस्ट लेट इट बी. just let it be. But the time that you're feeling it, you're full of love, होता है ना, full of love, आपका heart chakra उस time पे balanced है. Yeah, that's I think the best way to put it. When sometimes you look at a baby or you look at a puppy and वो feeling आता है ना, of course there are hormones also at work, a lot of things are at work. तो हम तो एक एक करके देख रहे हैं ना. Right now we're only talking about chakras, we are not sitting and speaking about hormones here, right? It's all in tandem, everything is happening together, and we know this much and there is so much to know. So जो समझ आ रहा है वो discuss कर रहे हैं. Another form of love when it comes to universal love, this I've learned with David Pond, I will give him full credit for this, is when you allow somebody to help you. That is love. Allowing somebody to help, which means you are giving the opportunity of feeling joyful to the other person. You're not snatching it away from that person. Let's say a person says, I really want to help you, and you say, no, I don't need your help. आपने उस इंसान को जॉयफुल फील करने से रोक दिया. तो मत करो. अलाउ देम टू हेल्प यू, एंड यू आर इन अ वे एडिंग देम टू फील लव एंड बैलेंस देयर हार्ट चक्रा. Fun, no? I'll see you in the next one. The fifth chakra, or the throat chakra, or Vishuddhi as it's called, it's signified by the color blue, located right here. Now it would feel like that I'm being able to speak louder or be very clear. Well, somewhere yes, it is something that is related to your self-expression, your own self-expression. What does that mean? It means that now you have found your own truth, your own voice. You've suddenly chanced upon your self-expression, your uniqueness, your personal truth. Suddenly you'll find yourself getting very creative. Like there'll be a blast of creativity in you, and it'll be like unstoppable. You would want to write, you would want to read, you would want to think, you would want to paint, you would want to dance, everything that is related with the cosmos, with the universe, which is creation, right, out of nothing. वो वाला जब energy आपके अंदर आएगा, that means that your throat chakra has been activated and it is balanced. it is balanced. When it is stifled, then honestly it'll turn into a little bit of disease and you'll find yourself very suppressed, oppressed. But if you are in your truth, very openly being able to speak without feeling a sense of judgment from anybody or without feeling a fear of being judged, you're just speaking in your truth, aram se, without pushing your way through, then your throat chakra has been activated fully. And when this does happen, suddenly there'll be like toing, 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 yan. Suddenly, exploding from within you, and you would want to catch it, like to use it and channelize it through these modes, which were painting, writing, dancing, creating, all forms of art basically, to move ahead and speak your truth. That is the expression of the throat chakra. This chakra, when it is getting activated, when it is coming to a place of balance, बहुत बार आपको लगेगा कि लाइक यू अननेसेसरीली स्टार्ट रिबेलिंग, अपोजिंग. दैट मीन्स आपका थ्रोट चक्रा फॉर्म हो रहा है थोड़ा सा, लाइक अंदर से आवाज़ आ रही है बट आपको ब्लॉकेज दिख रहा है, तो आप ना अजीब तरीके से बात कर रहे हो, यू अननेसेसरली रिबेलिंग. बट व्हेन दैट ब्लॉकेज गोज, that's when you start speaking your truth. And when that happens, you'll suddenly find that you are not opinionated anymore. When I say opinionated, what I mean is, we know this, we see it all around us, that people have very strong opinions, and that's okay. But having an opinion where you're trying to push down the other's opinion, that is again an imbalanced throat chakra. That means आप voice तो है, लेकिन you've gone down to your root chakra, where you're feeling insecure and unsafe with anybody else's opinion and you need to prove yourself. So what are we understanding? That the lower three chakras work out of ego and the top three chakras work out of spirit. Spirit is one of the whole world, which combines into being a soul, and that is what we call the universe. We are all just wearing clothes alag 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 and moving in bodies, right? The moment we go down to the ego chakra, to the ego bit, that is when the three chakras niche are imbalanced. And again, this अगर हम प्रैक्टिस करें ना और बार बार बैलेंस करें इनको, तो एक्चुअल में हो भी सकता है. इट्स जस्ट अबाउट पुटिंग इन द वर्क. एंड फर्स्ट, बिफोर दैट, इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू ऑल्सो आइडेंटिफाई दिस इज हैपनिंग. व्हेन यू डोंट नो, देन हाउ विल यू करेक्ट इट, राइट? Very important. I'm an artist myself, and this is important because let's say आपको feeling आ रहा है that again your ego can sometimes fool you or be deceive you, right? So your ego might be telling, wow, yeah, mera to throat chakra has been activated, now I'll do whatever the hell and create in whatever way. But if you're creating irresponsibly, if you are hurting unnecessarily hurting people's emotions, because that's not your truth, you're actually doing it with an agenda to hurt somebody through your art. That's again an imbalanced throat chakra. अगर आपके अंदर से प्यार और सच्चाई निकल रही है, हो ही नहीं सकता that the receiver does not receive it in the same way, unless of course the receiver has a twisted mind. But इसके अंदर the key word is to truly brutally ask yourself, क्या इसमें agenda था to hurt somebody as an artist, or it was your truth? That's when you'll know whether it is balanced or imbalanced. एक और जो चीज़ है इसमें, which again I can identify with, is till your throat chakra is balanced, you will keep feeling like you're an outsider, regardless of how many people love you or whatever your circumstances. And this has got nothing to do with the family you have, the friends you have, none of that. It just, you'll feel like an outsider always. And the day that this chakra gets balanced, you don't have that need anymore. You feel you belong everywhere. I mean, you just like, there's no need for that anymore. This is very interesting. This is something that I'm working on because I've always felt like I don't belong. So this is something not working on, I'm trying to figure out through this understanding कि अच्छा क्या है इसमें, मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ, which David Pond again mentions, what can you do to balance the chakra, that he is mentioned. So you will read the book to understand it, so, and please do that because I'm not the right practitioner to tell you. मैं आपको बस knowledge ला रही हूँ, उसका practice आपको करना है. Okay, please. Last thing is, suddenly you'll feel the preciousness of solitude, not wanting to escape. I know enough people who will say, I love my solitude. But when you probe further, they are actually trying to escape from their responsibilities, from the worldly duties, from their dharam, from their karam. They are trying to escape. And, maybe there's a resistance. It's not their truth. They're escaping. That is not a balanced throat chakra. That is an escape. और एक है solitude. That I'm the most peaceful in my solitude. That is a balanced throat chakra. The sixth chakra is right here. जिसको हम अपना थर्ड आई भी बोलते हैं, एंड तीसरी आंख जिसको बोलते हैं, एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड आज्ञा in Hindi. The chakra is Agya. The color that is related with this is indigo. Are you seeing how we are going ulta in the rainbow colors? Did you notice that? Did anybody notice that? I did for the first time when I was reading this book. I was like, oh, तो अभी violet बचा है जो बाहर है. Okay, interesting. We've already come to indigo, right? That is the sixth color in the rainbow. What does this chakra signify? It signifies J. Krishnamurti's words, detached observer. So यहाँ तक अगर पहुँच गए हो, इतना पहुँचना, अगर अगेन एक्चुअली आई नीड टू से दिस, ये भी हो सकता है कि आपका ये वाला चक्रा इज ऑलमोस्ट गेटिंग एक्टिवेटेड, येट योर मूलाधार इज नॉट इनएक्टिवेटेड, इट इज इम्बैलेंस. आई एम यूजिंग द रॉन्ग वर्ड्स. बैलेंस एंड इम्बैलेंस, दैट वुड बी अ बेटर वे टू डिस्क्राइब इट, क्योंकि सबके अंदर है. इट्स नॉट लाइक सम जब एक्टिवेट होता है तो अलग चीज़ें होती हैं. जब सारे एक्टिवेट हो जाते हैं, दैट्स व्हेन योर कुंडलिनी राइजेस. we'll speak about that later, okay? But ये वाला जो चक्र अगर आपका बैलेंस्ड है, एंड नेचुरली अगर आप इस दुनिया के हो और आप बहुत मेडिटेशन प्रैक्टिस नहीं कर रहे हो पिछले 20 साल से, वरना तो फिर आप थर्ड चक्र आपका खुल गया, फिर तो आप यू आर लाइक मोक्ष प्राप्त हो गया आपको. बट अगर आप इस दुनिया के हो और आपका ये बैलेंस्ड है, देन यू विल सडनली फाइंड दिस पावर इन यू वेयर यू आर एबल टू डिटैच. इट विल बी लाइक, लेट्स से ये पेन है, आप सोचते हो आप पेन हो, पर आप पेन नहीं हो. आप अपने आप को अलग करोगे एंड यू सी द पेन विच इज़ यू दूर से. दिस इज एन एग्जाम्पल, ओके? सो लेट्स से दिस इज कनिका. आप दूर से देखोगे फॉर एवरीथिंग, ओके? वेदर इट इज़ ओके, कनिका इज बिहेविंग इन दिस वे, व्हाई इज दैट? Kanika is like, let's say about physicality, Kanika is not being able to do this physical labor, whatever. Why is that? What is Kanika doing? Kanika is this, and not in an arrogant way. No, in a very accepting way. So when you do that, then everything that you take personally, and you know how suffering comes because of all the emotions. Basically, emotional regulation happens here, I think, at this space. Because then you have detached in the most beautiful way. Detached does not mean given up. Again, a lot of us, a lot of you will think, oh, so yeah, फिर ये करने की जरूरत क्या, छोड़ दो, let's not do it only. That is quitting. That is quitting. Quitting कर दिया तो आप तो मूलाधार से भी नीचे चले गए. Then you have to start all over again, right? You don't quit. You accept and then see, okay, यहाँ पे क्या है, इधर क्या है, इसको कैसे बैलेंस करना है. तो थर्ड चक्रा का ये होता है that you have balanced it out. You are now looking at things differently. Simple example, I am seeing myself in the camera right now. There is an image ना, और ये भी है, तो मैं कौन हूँ? Right now I'm having a very very surreal moment, by the way, on camera. Okay, so see, I can see that person, and let's say अभी मैं 4-5 यहाँ पे कैमरे खोल दूँ तो सब में मैं हूँ, बट मैं कौन हूँ, right? और ये कौन बोल रहा है? तो वो जो बोल रहे हैं उनका acknowledgement lies here in the third chakra. That okay, fine. And somehow जब ये होता है तो रोज़मर्रा का जो पेन, प्रॉब्लम्स, फियर्स, वो सारे गायब हो जाते हैं. इट्स लाइक ठीक है, एंड इट्स नॉट लाइक हाँ होने दो, लेट जाते हैं, छोड़ो यार, ये वो नहीं. दैट इज़ अगेन, लाइक आई सेड, इट्स अ वेरी ट्विस्टेड थॉट प्रोसेस, थिंकिंग दैट मेरा थर्ड चक्रा ऐसे खुल गया है, नाउ आई कैन जस्ट गिव अप ऑन एवरीथिंग. नो, नॉट एट ऑल, नॉट एट ऑल. You will know अगर आपका थर्ड चक्रा बैलेंस्ड है, इट विल बी अ वेरी डिफरेंट एनर्जी. इस बैलेंस चक्र में आएगा फेथ, ट्रस्ट, सरेंडर इन द यूनिवर्स, ज़ीरो रेजिस्टेंस, एंड लव तो है ही. लव, यू विल फील इट काइंड ऑफ मूविंग ऑन टॉप फॉर योर सेल्फ, फॉर एवरीथिंग अराउंड यू एंड एवरी वन अराउंड यू, इन एवरीथिंग दैट यू डू, just everywhere. That feeling. And looking at it from a distance. That's the best way I can describe this. And this is probably the most beautiful chapter, and then you will start reading your own energy. क्या हो रहा है, मतलब आप देख पाओगे कि यार मेरा मूलाधार ठीक नहीं चल रहा है, चलो उसको ठीक कर लेते हैं. मेरा अनाहत वॉज द हार्ट, आई थिंक आई फॉरगॉट टू मेंशन इट. अनाहत इज नॉट वर्किंग, उसको ठीक कर लेते हैं. लाइक दैट, it is happening in tandem, but it's happening without attachment. That's the best way I can put it. The best ways that you'll be able to make out that this is getting balanced is, आपको डर लगना बंद हो जाएगा. You'll be like, I'll be taken care of, it's all good. And people around you will force you to again come back into the lower chakras by telling you ऐसा नहीं होता, be practical, this is not how the way the world works. But you will no longer have the need to please them and follow their rules. You'd much rather take time out for yourself, to gather yourself, to contain yourself, and listen to yourself, your own energy, and do what you have to. And again, seeing it from a distance. This is what will start happening. And now it's time to move to the final chakra. And finally, we come to the seventh chakra or Sahasrar or the crown. It's here. It is represented by violet or white. And of course, I mean, those of you who understand color, who are artists like me, will understand why. That I'm not getting into, but these are the two colors. And now, what does this signify? What happens here? What happens here is complete ego disintegration. Okay, so काफ़ी लोग होंगे इस दुनिया में जिन्होंने कभी कभी कभार महसूस किया होगा या हमने सुना है, लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल लेट्स से लॉर्ड बुद्धा, वेयर ही मे बी अंडरस्टूड समथिंग अबाउट लाइफ, तो मे बी उनके सारे एक स्टैकअप होके ना यहाँ पर जो क्राउन चक्र होता है, सहस्त्रार मस्ट हैव बीन एक्टिवेटेड टू द नेक्स्ट डिग्री वेयर देयर इज़ नो ईगो एनी मोर. It's done with. So what happens here, I hope one day हमारा भी हो या मेरा भी हो कभी, when I'm 70 or something, I would love to experience this, that आपके सारे चक्र लाइन में आ गए हैं. एंड फर्स्ट मैंने कहा था राइट दैट it is the cosmic energy, the universal energy which we are part of, but we, because of our ego and also because of the society we've created and everything else that we've created like a blanket around us, which for us kind of deceives us to feel that we are protected out of fear, but the truth is that needs to go for us to seamlessly merge into the universe, let the fear completely go. And when that does, without fear meaning surrendering completely to the universe, that बोलते हैं ना खुदा हाफिज है, मतलब खुदा प्रोटेक्टर है, तो वो है ना, कुछ नहीं होगा आपको, और जो होना है वो होके रहेगा. And that is part of life, right? So once you let the cloak of that fear or the ego that comes to protect you from your own man-made assumptions, because we can think, when that goes, then the energy starts to come here and all your chakras must be getting aligned, like that. And when that must be happening is when the Sahasrar or the crown chakra must be getting activated to the next level, and that's when ego ceases to exist, and maybe that is when you are one with the universe, and that is, I think, the biggest truth. That could be our aspiration. That is my aspiration for sure. I really want to experience that. I do want to once in my life, कि क्या होता है वो फीलिंग. कभी छोटे छोटे सेकंड्स में आती है, पता नहीं वो मुझे आती है या मेरे थॉट्स में आती है, आई डोंट नो, बट आई एम ऑन दैट जर्नी फॉर श्योर. तभी तो ये शुरू किया है ऑल दिस. आई हैव स्टार्टेड टू फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो डिटैच. मुझसे तो वही नहीं होता. फॉर द लॉन्गेस्ट टाइम आई वॉज द मोस्ट, अभी भी हूँ, वेरी वेरी इमोशनल पर्सन, एक्सट्रीमली सेंसिटिव, बट समथिंग हैज़ हैपन इन माई लाइफ विच हैज़ मेड मी लाइक completely like change. And nothing happens, like one incident doesn't do that, but series of incidents together, but in your lifeline you'll see एक साथ ना एक block आएगा. I feel I'm moving आगे from that block, and now I'm seeing that, oh, these were my impediments, these were my obstacles, so now that I know, जब नॉलेज आ जाती है तभी आप काम कर सकते हो, ये मैंने पहले भी बोला है. तो दैट इज़ माई, अगर आप बोलो ना मेरे को काम क्या करना है इस दुनिया में, मुझे काम अपने आप को जानना है, मुझे अपने आप को बेटर करते रहना है. दैट इज़ माई होल पर्पस, एंड आई रियली विश दैट आई कैन एक्सपीरियंस दिस चक्र वंस. बाकियों पे तो काम चल रहा है, बहुत ज़ोरों से चल रहा है. आई एम एन आर्किटेक्ट एनी हाउस, सो आई एम लाइक pecking away on various parts of my life that need a little more, I would say, defining and fine-tuning. With that, I will stop here, and I hope this made sense. And please subscribe to my channel, support me in this endeavor, and thank you very much, and have a nice day. Bye.